Yeah, it's fine. Thank you for the yes. Doing that. Yeah. Yeah. So good afternoon once again. You're highly welcome. We had the first part of the presentation on the open access to from open access to artificial intelligence. Algorithmic control. Reimagine knowledge ownership in Africa research ecosystem. Yeah. Those who are here yesterday during the section were wow due to the presentations that we had. And today, I'm very sure we are going to have another wonderful presentation and discussion sessions. For this panel, we are trying to value the discussion a lot. The presenter will say 10 minutes, and they are going to come back to respond to our questions so that we can have our ideas beyond what they have presented, so that we have enough time to work minds together and make their work better. For the future, the objective of this panel is that after the presentation, they should be able to go back. We have discussed with some journal outlets who are ready to publish their work. So we can put it together, make it beautiful, they are going to get published. So today we are having 4 presenters who will be making the presentation. The first presentation we have on this book is Navigating the Copyright Paradox. Authors' rights, intentions, and infringement challenges in the age of AI-driven Africa scholarship. That will be done by Dr. Esther Oluwayemi Jato. She is right here to with physical. Please, a round of applause for her. And the co-presenter is Professor Abiola from the University of Ibadan. Then the second on this is artificial intelligence, knowledge creation, and academic intelligence integrity in African scholarship, and that will be presented by Mr. Bayo Joseph Odelami from Federal University of Health Sciences in Dangote. He will be joining us online. The third presentation will be reference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research among postgraduate students in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. And that will be done by Dr. Lalipo Abiola Awujola in collaboration with Mrs. Oluwabukunmi Oyelola Adeyemi, also from the University of Ibadan. She'll be joining us online. She's already there. Give a round of applause for us. And finally, we'll be having a presentation on building smart archives, the role of artificial intelligence in modernizing African records and research systems by AZ Units. Please, a round of applause. SC. Okay, SC Units. She's here physically from the University of Ghana. Please, a round of applause. Yeah, so without more ado, please, Mrs. Oluwabukola, are you ready, please? Can you speak with us? Do you hear us?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Are you referring to me?
Yeah, I'm just asking if you have all your information ready, and if you are called to present, you are ready to do that.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Bayotu Odelani.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm active online.
Okay, very good. Can you share your slides for that? if you are asked to present now? Do you have
Yes,
access?
yes.
Okay, please, let's have your presentation. You have just 10 minutes for the presentation. So the presentation we'll be having now will be from Mr. Bayo Odelami from Federal University of Health Science in Down. And his presentation is on artificial intelligence, knowledge creation, and academic integrity in African scholarship by Bayo Odelami. This you have just 10 minutes. And your
Sorry,
slide
sir.
are
Sorry, sir. Can we quickly take another presenter while I put up my, because I just returned
okay.
from work. I'm trying to
No
get
problem.
settled there.
No problem. Okay. So, Madam Oluwabunmi, are you ready to take that slide? Hello.
Yes, sir, I
Oluwabunmi.
am. I am.
Okay. Please, I have my co-chair here, in person of Dr. Oyelude. Thanks for taking us. Okay, so you have your time counting. 10 minutes, please. You can proceed. Yes.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, the organizer of the conference, the chairman of the panel, the co-chair, and other conference attendees. I am Oluwabunmi Adeyemi from the University of Ibadan, and I'll be presenting with Dr. Olalekan Abiola Ojola from the University of Ibadan too. And our topic is on preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research among postgraduate students in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. Introduction. Research generally involves a structure and logical inquiry process aimed at generating new ideas, solving identified problems, or contributing to existing knowledge. In higher educational institutions, academic research is the most reliable way of advancing knowledge, solving problems, and fostering innovation. As such, it is expected that students enrolled in different postgraduate studies take research activities seriously. Postgraduates are therefore encouraged to make use of open access resources such as research reports, e-journals, conference papers, e-newspapers, institutional repositories, personal websites, databases, among others, for academic research activities. Open access resources are unrestricted information resources that students find readily available for use. Open access are publications published in scholarly journals or institutional repositories without restriction. It enables users, postgraduate students, to consume, transfer, and reproduce full text of scholarly works in their field of study. Toyo 2016 examined the relevance of the use of open access publication in Delta State University, and findings revealed that respondents make use of open access publications for their courseworks, to update their knowledge, to meet research needs, to improve their academic performance, and lots more. Saros et al. 2022, however, examined utilization of open access resources by postgraduate students in a university in Kenya, and the study revealed that despite the availability and the benefits that open access resources offer, there is still low utilization of open access resources in these universities. As such, it can be said that low utilization of open access resources by postgraduate students could be as a result of their preference for artificial intelligence tools. Artificial intelligence tools are systems and algorithms capable of executing tasks that usually necessitate human intelligence. These technologies support a wide range of research activities according to literature, including automated data analysis, literature synthesis, AI-assisted academic writing, and adaptive intelligence tutoring systems. Kell et al. 2025 described the experiences of students who use generative AI while writing their practice-based dissertation. These students find AI to be helpful for research tasks, such as refining research questions, generating example text, and proofreading, essentially as a transformative support throughout the dissertation journey. Artificial intelligence tools offer undeniable scholarly productivity benefits such as rapidly producing well-structured text, translating or summarizing literature, and serving as a conversational assistant during the writing process. Students and researchers are using tools like ChatGPT as writing tutors for brainstorming or even to generate early drafts of papers. These capabilities have even prompted some educators to explore how UI can be constructively integrated into academic curricula. In this light, it is essential that this study investigates preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research among postgraduate students in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. Statement of the problem. Open access resources constitute an important source of scholarly information for postgraduate students, providing unrestricted access to journals, books, theses, dissertations, institutional repositories, and other academic materials. However, the emergence of rapid adoption of artificial intelligence tools such as ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, ResearchRabbit, Semantic Scholar, LSA, Claude, Grammarly, among others, have transformed the way postgraduate students search for, retrieve, analyze, and even use information. These tools offer quick, convenient, and interactive responses to research queries, making them increasingly attractive to postgraduate students. While these tools have the potential to enhance research productivity and efficiency, concerns have been raised that over-dependence on these technologies may reduce students' engagement with credible open access resources and other authoritative scholarly resources. Students may also be exposed to challenges such as inaccurate information, fabricated citations, hallucinated citations, weak critical thinking, and academic integrity. This growing dependence may also affect the quality, credibility, and originality of scholarly rigor produced by postgraduate students during research. In view of this, the present study investigated preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research among postgraduates in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. Objectives of the study. The main objective of the study was to investigate preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research among postgraduate students in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. Four specific objectives were raised, four research questions were answered, and the scope of study has title scope, which investigated preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research. The study covered types and frequencies of open access resources and AI tools used by postgraduate students for academic research. The population scope of the study was postgraduate students in universities in Oyo State, Nigeria. And geographically, the scope of the study covered three universities in Oyo State, Nigeria, namely University of Ibadan, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogumosho, and Lee City University, Tollgate. Significance of the study. The findings of this study would be of great relevance to postgraduate students as it would help them to effectively and ethically utilize open access resources and AI tools for academic research. For lecturers, these findings of the study will provide insight into postgraduate students' research practice and preferences regarding information resources. The finding will also help university libraries to develop user-centered services to improve digital collections and design relevant information literacy programs to promote
Yeah,
responsible and
you have
ethical
just 4 minutes. You have just 4 minutes more.
of open access. Thank you. Then the research design adopted for the study was descriptive research design. The population comprised of postgraduate students in three universities in Oyo State. Convenience sampling was adopted, and was the sample. What I say postgraduate students was the sample size. Questionnaire was the main data collection instrument, while descriptive statistics such as frequency count was used for analysis. Findings reveal that 80% of the respondents were males and 53 were females. Findings also show that most of the AI tools used by a majority of respondents were OpenAI, Perplexity AI, Grammarly, Qbots, and ResearchRabbit. Findings also reveal that OpenAI, Perplexity AI were used on a daily basis. Majority used Elicit, Mendeley, and connected papers on a weekly basis. The most used open access resources were search engines, open access and institutional repository. Search engines were used daily, open access were used weekly. Conclusion. AI tools were frequently and relatively more preferred by the respondents, suggesting a shift towards AI-assisted research practices over open access resources. The growing reliance on AI platforms suggests that students value the speed, convenience, and multifunctional capacities that these tools provide. Recommendation. The study recommended that universities should integrate ethical use of AI into academic and information literacy programs. Academic libraries should strengthen awareness and promotion of open access resources. University management should develop clear policies and guidelines on the use of AI in academic work, and students should be encouraged to critically evaluate information obtained from AI tools before using it for academic purposes. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. You are able to manage the time very well. Please make sure you stay online as we progress. After the presentations of everyone, we are going to come back and have your inputs and conclusions as regards question being asked. So now let's have it diversified. Yeah, so let's have it diversified. We are going to have a physical presentation, which will be on navigating the copyright paradox, authors' right, retention, and infringement challenges in the age of AI-driven African scholarship. And that will be presented by Dr. Esther Jato and Professor Abiola Abioye. Please, you have the.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Esther Jato, and my co-presenter, who has been around to Tuesday, shortly after to travel today because of an emergency at home. We'll be speaking on the topic titled Navigating the Copyright Paradox, Authors' Right Retention and Infringement Challenges in the Age of AI-driven African Scholarship. The African research landscape stands at a crucial crossroads, and where the promises of open access collide with the realities of the algorithm extraction and creating what can now be described as the knowledge ownership. Before now, there haven't been any reason to come up with never to go an urgent role of AI, but with the introduction of the new dimension of the copyright crisis, the AI extracts knowledge patterns from and insight from academic work without even obtaining any consent or providing the attribution to the author. However, this study is very, very necessary in order to protect African knowledge sovereignty and also to address emerging AI-related copyright challenges. And finally, to promote equitable and sustainable research ecosystem. Despite the growing and importance of AI in research, African scholars face limited AI utilization and weak copyright protection. This has reduced research visibility, innovation, and global competitiveness. Existing studies indicated that there has been like intersection of AI adoption, copyright retention, and algorithm appreciation. This creates a significant gap in safeguarding African knowledge sovereignty. There have been like 5 objectives for this study, and one of it is the emerging to examine the current pattern of copyright retention. The methodology used for this study is a literature search strategy, whereby the study involves defining the scope of the study and also include the specific aspects of authors' copyright retention in African academic publishing. The paper also utilizes multiple databases such as Google Scholar, among others. The paper proposes a right retention framework specifically tailored to African research that balances open access principles with robust author protection, and also incorporate indigenous knowledge and establish mechanisms for copyright enforcement in the AI era. In the course of the research, we observed that there is a current gap in copyright laws related AI entirely. Only South Africa and Kenya happens to have AI government talks about how to come up with this AI among others. Therefore, there is need for statutory limit on copyright transfer, research, and the fair use of exemption, and the fair use of exemption. The findings also reveal that there are also existing copyright laws in many African countries. They are all outdated, and they fail to protect the interests of academics in the digital age. Also, and they can now conclude that this copyright of a thing goes beyond author's right. You say it goes beyond author's right, and there is need for goes beyond author's right. The copyright laws are outdated, as I've mentioned. They are outdated. There is need for reform, urgent reform in the copyright law, and also AI introduces new dimensions of which is not easy to. It is only extract information of authors without giving credence to the author's right. So there are like 5 action priorities taken away from this work. One, the institution should adopt mandatory right retention policy, taking to the Harvard Open Access. Harvard have an open access policy in which institutions can adopt such open access retention right policy, and also they are also to mandate purporting to grant non-exclusive licenses to publishers, to authors, before their work can be published. Also, there is need to harmonize like an enforcement on multi-level principles or intervention across nations. They need to harmonize all their interventions, not only Nigeria, all those countries can come together and have a harmonized intervention at a multi-level across borders. Then also there is a legal reform in Africa should prioritize authors' rights while promoting open access. Then African governments should enforce regulations that would require AI developers to secure explicit consent, prioritizing African scholarly work for training and personal data. Then also a comprehensive African copyright protection framework should be developed, and this should come in levels like institution, national, international, and all of them can now have like a harmonized, they have a harmonized section whereby we can have all those information and the right of retention for every author. At the national level, they should government can establish like digital copyright offices and enforce the infringement and monitor the infringement law. So that anybody that violated such law, there will be like a sanction or committed to that law. Then at the national level, some can implement open access policy, whereby right retention can be given to all authors. Then there is need to also collaboration among African countries, in which they can have like authors interest in mind and reinforcing all the framework among others. And at the end of the we have a few references. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Esther Jackson. The next paper is coming from online with us calling up Bayo Joseph Odelami of Federal University of Health Sciences. I suppose he's coming up now, and the paper is titled Artificial Intelligence, Knowledge Creation, and Academic Integrity in African Scholarship. Bayo, you have the floor. Are you ready? You have 10 minutes. Unmute yourself, please.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
So you have 10 minutes.
All right, Ma. Thank you very much. I don't know if my screen is visible to everyone now.
Very visible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. Good evening, everyone. The panelists, thank you very much for this opportunity to present my paper titled Artificial Intelligence, Knowledge Creation, and Academic Integrity in African Scholarship, Opportunities, Challenges, and Future Direction. By way of introduction, artificial intelligence has become a transformative technology that is impacting both positively and negatively on different domains of human endeavors, um, including the health sector, commerce, agriculture, and even education. Every aspect of human endeavor is feeling the heat of emergence of artificial intelligence. And particularly, generative artificial intelligence has become a household tool that people and especially scholars are utilizing for research, education, and other scholarly activities. And also in Africa, there's a growing level of adoption of artificial intelligence. A report by Oxford Insight in the United Kingdom actually ranked the readiness and adoption of some African countries when it comes to artificial intelligence. And Mauritius was rated in number one, followed by South Africa, Egypt, and other countries in Africa. Nigeria was actually rated on number 10 of that particular report. This shows that AI is becoming. Sorry, can I proceed, Ma?
Yes, please proceed. It's the network here.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. So there is a growing level of AI adoption within African scholarship, and generative artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, Qbot, ResearchRabbit, and the rest of them are aiding both knowledge creation and also scholarly communication in different areas, in the area of generating ideas, in the areas of data analysis, in the area of presentation, and all of that. These AI tools are being utilized for these scholarly purposes. But despite the benefits associated with AI, its emergence and use continue to raise questions regarding academic integrity. And today, one of the bone of contention is research is who owns our knowledge, the knowledge that people are creating nowadays, that scholars are creating, who owns this knowledge. This is as a result of the fact that we have issues with academic integrity. So this presentation discusses the opportunity that AI presents for knowledge production and scholarly communication in Africa, the challenges and future direction for effective application of AI for knowledge production and scholarly communication in Africa. So the current stage of knowledge production in Africa, according to UNESCO report, depict that only less than 1% of global knowledge production comes from Africa. This is a challenge, despite the fact that we have availability of tools and resources around us that could enable us to be visible out there. Only less than 1% of global knowledge production comes from Africa. And many researchers and researchers coming out of Africa are not visible. So, but AI could actually be the game changer for us to overcome these problems or these challenges that continue to be devil knowledge production and scholarly communication in Africa. Application of AI can actually increase research productivity, greater inclusivity and participation. It can also bring about the democratization of you know um, knowledge production and participation of African scholars within global knowledge production. But however, the challenge of academic integrity still exists. Why this technology offer immense benefits, they see the critical question of academic integrity. And what is academic integrity? Academic integrity, according to International Center for Academic Integrity in Canada, define is as adhering to the principle of academic standard in terms of honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility. Another author define it as, encompassing values, behavior, and conduct that embrace sound academic standard and educational principle, even in the midst of adversity. What academic integrity is talking about revolves around adherence to the principle of, honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility when it comes to research and when it comes to knowledge production. What we have seen so far since artificial intelligence, especially Gen AI, become very prominent in African scholarship, is that people are now negatively using these tools to produce knowledge without adhering to the principle of academic integrity. And without academic integrity, it will be very difficult to produce quality and potent research or knowledge that can actually bring about innovation and growth in Africa. So, we have seen AI being used to plagiarize, to fabricate references, and to produce hallucinated information and unsolicited knowledge creation that most scholars, both students, researchers, even academics, they don't come out to actually explain where this knowledge are coming from. So these are issues with knowledge production in Africa. So the question still remains that the knowledge that are coming from Africa, are they of quality? Who actually produces them? Where are they gotten from? And all of that. So if we don't adhere to the principle of academic integrity, it means that there will be a reduction in the quality and credibility of our research and knowledge that we are producing out of Africa. It has been a bone of contention that Africa needs to be seen. We need to produce knowledge that can bring about transformation. But if we don't adhere, if scholars, if academics, if students don't adhere to the principle of academic integrity, it will be extremely difficult to produce knowledge that will bring about the transformation of Africa. Also, non-adherence to academic integrity will result in wastage of limited research funding and resources, declining in trust in research and evidence. So all of these problems exist, and one of the factors, bringing about the issue of non-adherence to academic uh, integrity is the limited credence to academic culture in our universities and academic institutions, and a gap in AI literacy among scholars. So, what is the future direction? How do we address some of these problems that persist when it comes to the application of AI in knowledge creation and communication in Africa? So, the future direction that this paper is presenting for us to look at is to establish clear AI governance, especially in our universities. There's a need to develop and regularly update university policies that define permitted, restricted, and disclosed use of AI in teaching. When we compare African scholarship with, scholarship in developed world, if you go to their website, there will always be a statement, a policy that will tell scholars, that will tell students, that will tell academics the extent to which they can use artificial intelligence, how to even reference this artificial intelligence. But when it comes to African scholarship, so I mean, things like that have not been really implemented. So there's a need for us to look into that direction by establishing clear AI governance across our institution where knowledge are being produced. There's also a need to integrity education. There's a need to educate even, educators, I mean the lecturers in our universities, in our polytechnics and the rest of them, on how to ethically make use of AI. And also there's a need to build this and AI literacy among scholars in Africa. In conclusion of this paper, we must note that not augment, I mean, should augment human intelligence and not replace rigor and responsible scholarly activities and contribution. Academic integrity should be amplified across our institution, and for recommendation to universities, the university management, the researchers must know how to verify and be transparent when it comes to their research. They need to declare if they have actually made use of AI in their knowledge production. And the policymaker also, that is the government, they need to make um, policies, they need to make known policies and ensure that universities and scholars, researchers adhere to these policies and framework that will be known to everybody so that everybody can adhere to them. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Bayo, and for keeping to time as well. We appreciate you. So please stay online. We have 2 more presentations, then we take all the questions together. So please stay online. We are going to invite the next person to present, and the person she will be presenting physically here. We have Esther Eunice Anenene to present on the topic Building Smart Archives, the role of artificial intelligence in modernizing African records and research systems. Over to you, Esther. You have 10 minutes.
Good evening, the chair and everyone present. I am Esther Eunice Anenene. The title of my presentation is Building Archives, the Role of Artificial Intelligence in Modernizing African Records and Research Systems. Records, as we all know, according to the International Organization for Standardization 2016, they are information that are created, received, and maintained as evidence of activities and transactions by organizations or individuals, while archives refers to records of enduring value that are preserved for long-term access and is a historical reference. Before I proceed, I would like to draw attention that this work is actually an expository work and also a systemic literature review that brings to light the various states of records, the various states and stages of records management systems in African countries, and also how the use of or the application of our AI can improve the archival systems in African research. I will not be able, because of want of time, I will not be able to exhaust this here. So I will give a summary of how it goes. So I will give feedback from other countries as well as in Nigeria. So records they are particularly they are the backbone of research systems, providing reliable data and also for scholarly inquiry, policy formulation, and institutional memories. However, research systems, particularly academic institutions and governmental organizations, they rely solely on proper records and archival management systems. Across Africa, for instance, efforts have been made to develop and strengthen the archives and records management systems in response to the growing needs and demands of information accessibility and research productivity, especially in the academia. Countries such as South Africa and Kenya, for instance, they began integrating intelligence systems into these records, although various stages and also various stages of maturity, and also there are disparities in their level, and this can be attributed to the technological infrastructure and policy development. Despite the significance of records and archival management systems in African records research systems, records management has relied only traditionally and has been characterized by manual processes and also limited integration of digital technology. What could be the cause of this? It's that large volumes of records, they are still being accessed through physical formats. And when you access large volumes of records, you are limited, you are constrained. For instance, in Nigeria, now the archival system in the National Archives, we still operate in the manual system. As a result, it slows your research work down. So this particular system is not peculiar to Nigeria alone, but the whole of Africa. But this is at varying degrees. So we have the literature to back this claim up. However, in recent years, the global information environment has undergone significant transformation driven by advancements in digital technologies. Among these is artificial intelligence, which has emerged as a key innovation with the capacity to reshape the information management practices. So artificial intelligence, in relation to this work, refers to the capability of computer systems to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, including learning, reasoning, patterns recognition, and decision making. That definition was given by Russell and Loudon in 2021. And some of the AI technologies, they are in terms of archives and records management, they are machine learning, natural languages processing, and computer vision, enable systems to process large volumes of data and also identify patterns and generate insights with minimal human intervention. So in particular, the concepts, the application of AI in information management has given rise to new approaches in records management system practices in Africa. Particularly, the concept of smart archives has gained prominence as institutions seek to modernize traditional archival systems. Modifa 2024 defines smart archives as technologically enhanced archival systems that leverage AI and other digital tools to automate processes, improve data organization, and facilitate effective access to information resources. Unlike conventional archives, which rely heavily on manual records classification, retrieval, smart archives now integrate intelligence systems capable of handling complex data environments and supporting advanced research. So it makes accessibility of archival materials very easy, and you can access a large volume of records within the shortest period of time. So what is the relationship between AI and records management in Africa? AI offers tools that can enhance various stages of records in the records life cycle, which includes records creation, maintenance, and use and disposition. What is the state of African records and research systems? On Tuesday, I was at a discussion panel talking about reflections on archival and field experience. And the discussants were saying that a lot of the records in our national archives are mostly on pre-colonial activities. Also, this one will also make us to understand why our records, not just in the national archives of Nigeria, but in Africa, a lot of the records there are many colonial activities. We haven't find activities, the post-colonial activities. Here is where this work comes to be. Any records management practices across many African countries were largely influenced by colonial administration system. Why? These people created archives not for academic accessibility, but they created archives during that time to maintain and to back up their governance activities, taxation, and also to control, rather than the broad accessibility and also for research engagement. Now, with the colonialism has come and gone, we still need archives, especially in academia and in our systems today. We keep blaming the government, but they have come and gone. What are we supposed to do? Here is why we need to reform the activities of archives and records management in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, where we belong. So the foundation orientation of many archival institutions did not at that time prioritize long-term preservation of user-centered access. And this is already the dilemma we are facing. Studies, particularly in Southern and Eastern Africa, from South Africa and in Kenya particularly, I think these structural legacies, I said it's not only peculiar to Nigeria, but in Africa. And also, it is an ongoing reform effort. So, and this ongoing reform of efforts to not start keeping archival materials on post-colonialism and with the focus on governmental research and policies, and also for academic research, you understand? It's now ongoing. So in Nigeria, for instance, records management system exists in both public and academic institutions. However, we are still at the barest minimum of artificial application of artificial intelligence. Although efforts have been made to introduce electronic records management systems in significant proportion at various levels, we still have a lot of factors that are affecting us, which could be attributed to the foundation. AI role in modernizing, enhancing archives in Nigeria. The role of the artificial intelligence. Like as I said, AI has come and it has come to stay in order to help transform the archival system in Africa, especially in Nigeria. So areas of application, where are the areas that AI can transform in archives and records management system? Automation of records classification and organization, also in metadata generation and enhancement, digitization and preservation of archival materials. In addition to preservation, artificial intelligence plays a crucial role in enhancing access to archival information. Also, it contributes to appraisal and decision-making process within archival engagement. Another area of application is the use of AI in managing audiovisual and multimedia activities. We have a lot of cultural activities which needs to be preserved. So I would say in conclusion, like as I said, it's an exposition. I cannot say it here. I'm constrained of what concern. So this study has established it has highlighted that many archival systems in Africa are still operating within largely manual and semi-digital frameworks, which limit efficiency, accessibility, and long-term preservation. And there are various degrees, stages in Africa. Kenya, East Africa, for instance, and South Africa, they are ahead of Nigeria. However, they still have policy, framework, financial difficulties in all this. So the adoption of AI in records management is essential to strengthen research systems and align archival practices in Africa, especially in Nigeria, within global technological development. This paper, however, recommends to us the first one is archival institutions should adopt AI technologies to improve records classification, organization, and retrieval processes. Also, they should increase investment in digital infrastructure to support the effective implementation of AI-driven archival systems. Continuous training programs should be provided for records management professionals to enhance the confidence in emerging technologies. Also, there should be policies from the government and stakeholders in order to support these AI and smart archives, especially in Africa. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Esther. Even though you spent 2 minutes extra, we find you for that. I think you pardon her, right? Please help me with another round of applause. And so I have been told that Dr. John Oluwaseye Adebayo will be unable to, for some circumstances, to present. However, the conversation is still ongoing, definitely. Dr. John Oluwaseye Adebayo is actually one of the co-panelists. If he were right here and not in Milwaukee, he should be the one speaking. So he gave me his job to do. No problem, John. It's okay. It's just fine. So what we need to do now is the discussion. If you have questions for our four speakers, our speaker, Esther Dato, on navigating the copyright paradox, Bayo Joseph Odelami on artificial intelligence and academic integrity. And also, if you have questions for Olaleko Awujola and Oluwabukumi Oyelole Adeyemi, who spoke on the preference for open access resources and AI tools for academic research amongst postgraduate students, as well as our last speaker, who actually told us how we can build smart archives. That is essay. Please indicate your questions.
So question time.
Please let us number the questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll give you a number. Questions? Yes, number one, user. Any other person? Number one. Any other person who has a question?
Question, contribution, observation, as regards the
from open access to artificial intelligence, we have questions. Okay, sir. Can we have, okay, that's number two. Any other? So we have two questions. I think I saw that, yeah, you want to ask a question, so that's number three question. Thank you. Can we have your question, sir? Number one. You can, if you can throw your voice fine, or you can talk about. Come over.
My question will be because in structuring these are sample. Male sample size is 60% compared, female compared to female was 60% when male 30 something 39%. How did it come about to that sample size? Male or female getting more than the male. So how is that possible?
Okay.
Then Emmanuel Akusa. Then the second question is how do we derive what should be an ethical AI ethics? AI ethical standard. How do we measure it? How do we know?
Who is the question for?
Same person.
Same person.
Same presenter. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Then number two.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, present answer. You can show picture. They actually talk together and laugh together. So outside and heaven. And we start the comment. And start the comment of that the clients. The hard clients supposed to get back and start. Not forwarded, not for me, and frankly, it's like so please, especially as the information professionals, need to do better. So my question to I just got that so you were talking about copyright infringement and I open access AI, academic AI. Even when they have been article, it depends on how you get it. But and use research rabbit to get very detailed articles that I can sit down to. Now, if I've done that and I acknowledge the author, giving the reference, people if AI generate whatever for you, it will give reference apart from the anticipated references. Then the author can be acknowledged. So then we now have the issue of copyright infringement. That is the question. Then to the message I talk about the artificial intelligence and academic integrity in African scholarship. Then I quite idea
The person is online. Can you move?
Okay.
But we can confirm again if they can hear us.
Please, can you hear us, Mr. Bayo?
Not at all. I'm not hearing you.
Let's come closer to the mic.
It's no longer clear.
Yeah, there is a question for you. So she moving closer to repeat the question.
Thank you. Okay, I said something about academic integrity in African scholarship when it has to come with the creation of knowledge. Okay, now the question is, if it's actually similar to the fourth question that I asked, that if I have articles generated for me, I mean, yes, PDF articles, PDF document that I get, and I work on it myself, I reference the author. Is there any integrity problem in that? Is there any integrity problem in that? I get it I sort it through AI, but I worked on it myself and presented it, giving proper references. Then my question also goes to yes, to Yunin. She talked on yes, archives. And then you mentioned that most of what we have in our archives are colonial, are being the materials that are pre-colonial. And then you are now saying that if you don't move away from that, if you don't, we have to have a beginning. Of course, if we forget our past, then we will not be able to link up with the future. So discarding, like you were suggesting, that we should discard the past. Okay, you are not suggesting that. Okay, if you are not suggesting that, then the another question is, you were talking about artificial intelligence being used for digitization. I was like talking to myself that before AI, there have been efforts to digitize, and that has been done. So what is the new thing that artificial intelligence is now bringing into, digitizing archival materials? Thank you.
Thank you.
Number three. Please come forward. Doctor, I thought you wanted to ask a question. Oh, okay. So the first one, those are the questions we have answered.
Yes.
The base scholars and presenters on this matter, the diatribe of us, adopting artificial intelligence, why we look at the potentials of what it can do, digital archiving, and the rest of it. I always keep asking a very simple question. Sorry, I'm going to take, for instance, I don't know when you wrote for it, but when I wrote my wire, we didn't use calculators. We used 4 tables.
Can you
Yeah.
Okay, we use 4 tables, and then we wrote our wire, but then later on they allowed calculators, it didn't kill. Now, before my experiment with the whole, then there's why are we so keen that it must drop the tractor and use the hoe to keep farming? What is the quarrel about us adopting artificial intelligence and then changing mode of examination? So when I examine your paper, I'm examining you and your ability to use the technology available to you to do your work. Is there anything really precisely wrong with that? That's my question.
Okay, so I think we should start from those who are online. Can we have Mr. Adebayo, I'm sorry, Odela, yes. Can you take though I can see a hand, Diana,
All right.
Raising a hand. Can we clarify whether it's a question for the presenters so we can take all together? Online, you can see Diana Abasi raising a hand. Are you going to ask a question, please?
So you have been muted.
You have been unmuted.
Diana Abasi.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the presenters, all of them, for the presentation. I really love the presentation. But I'm particularly interested in one that was talking about the archives that digitalizing the archives. Yes. Are we not going to endanger these records that is exposed from to digitalizing this data? Are we not endangering them? For instance, if there are records available in this locality, and then I digitalize them and then make them widely available. I'm somewhat training the models, the AI models, the AI algorithm that are being used, and this thing can be commercialized without our knowledge. So are we not exposing this thing to those dangers, those commercial dangers? That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, thank you.
And now are we dealing with that particular issue? Yes. Yeah.
You don't
All
have
right,
to
thank
be,
you.
don't have to be this one will like one thing, the other one will like another thing.
Thank you.
So can we mute and then we have our presenters respond. So Mr. Dr. Bayo Odelami, can you respond to question, please?
All right, ma. Thank you very much, ma. I hope everybody can hear me. The network from Lagos is not so good, but we are managing it.
We can hear you.
All right, thank you very much, ma. So the question is that, for example, I'm a scholar and I ask AI to probably generate a PDF document for me, and then after generating the document, I go through it, and then I worked on it myself, and I reference the material properly. And so the question is have I you know adhere, or have I not adhered to academic integrity? So the answer is the person or the scholar has actually adhered to academic integrity. All right, AI, generative artificial intelligence, is meant to help us in our research, in our scholarly works, and all of that. So asking AI to generate a document, and I verified that the document is actually from the right source. The document is actually a scholarly work, which I have checked online, which I have seen the source that, is not hallucinated, generated. I can go ahead and work on the document myself. I have not, go against the principle of academic integrity in any way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Odelami. Can we now have Oluwabukumi Oyelola Adeyemi to respond to the questions? You had an advice that you should not present a word point. You should have, yes, and then you had a question asking how you arrived at the participants or your respondents. Why is it that you have more females than males? Is there any reason why?
All right, thank you. I think
yes.
Can you hear us?
Very well. We can hear you.
All right. Yes,
okay,
thank you so much.
I can hear Dr. Awujola speaking.
Yes,
welcome.
I commend you for this wonderful outing. Well done, ma. However, thank you for the question. We use 60% to get our respondents, but when we go to survey them, we discover that we had more female respondents than the male. Well, I think if you agree with me that the educational drive now, the shift is taking place in education circle, whereby we have more female, coming to pursue educational degrees. I think the males now are out seeking money. So that's the trend now. Often we have more candidates, more female candidates coming to school to study. I think we can encourage male students also to do such. Again, a question came to us on one of the recommendations we made, that once we have discovered that students tend to prefer more of AI, tools and AI platform to augment their academic activities. That how will they, or where will they get the ethical information that will guide them on the use of this thing? Actually, we did not dwell on the ethical, but however, to supply answers to that, we can get ethical information on AI use. We can start global standard, recommendation and information about ethical use. We can also we can conduct academic research, we can start literature to get what literature has to tell us about the ethical use of this thing. We can also look at the technological policies, because AI tools are technology that we use. We have platform, then we have the technology, we have the system that is being used, and oftentimes the policy makers, those that make the technology, they have policy on the use. So we can also look into technology policies to see some of the ethical consideration that we guide or are attached to the use of AI. I think if we survey all these areas, we can get some quality ethical information that we guide the use of AI. I hope I've been able to supply answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awujale, for that. And so we come to those who are right in here with us. Dr. Jazo, you want to respond?
Yes. Thank you very much for the. Yes, please. Thank you very much for the questions. I would not subscribe to using AI for any intellectual or academic work. Before the advent of AI, haven't we been writing? We've been thinking, we've been writing for AI. You can use it for any other things. By and large, if you must use it, the references that AI generated during my presentation, I may mention that AI system extract information without giving any consent. It might extract information from author A and reference author D. So need to confirm the references that it generated, maybe by putting it on Google Scholar or any other databases. But for your academic or intellectual work, there are a lot of databases that you can use in which you can get a lot of information and materials to support your research. That's my own summation.
Thank you. Okay. Then we now have yes, Eunice and Nene to respond to the questions she was asked. Let's finish with that first. Then we can take extra.
Thank you very much for the questions. I'll say digitization is aspects of artificial intelligence and goal of smart archives. In fact, digitization is the first step. It's the process of converting the manual records into digital materials. You understand? So after digitizing these materials, how do you access these materials? How do you detect relevant records? How do you know that these records have outlived their values? And how do you detect that these records, they are what preserved? That is the archival process. These are many more what artificial intelligence can do for you. But the second question said, digitizing the archival materials. Are you not endangering the records? No. Digitization is it's like a secondary storage. You digitize your materials, but you don't put them out there in the public. You put them in the local repository. The only content you place there online for people to see is the content that you have. That is, we have this, it's like an index. People cannot access the whole of the material. So whatever those ones that they can access by paying, there is the limit to what they can access. They have to physically come to the archives, that is the repository, in order to access the digital material. So digitizing archival materials at all, it is not endangering, rather it is preserving those records. Thank you very much.
Yes, I can see some hands up there, but before then, we have the hands of one of the co-chairs, Dr. John Oluwaseyi Adebayo, if you want to make some comments, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. It's a good feeling for us having your mentors, and I think it's a proud moment for myself and Dr. Adeoye, having you, Professor Abioye, around us. Thank you so much. And again, I think, like I mentioned yesterday, discussions around AI comes with different opinions, and I call it contentious conversations. And you see, if we will look at it, and again, I also appreciate our panelists and attendees. If we will look into it from our own discipline, we will have different notion about AI. Nobody is saying we shouldn't use AI. AI has come to stay, but how do we use it? I just want to give my opinion in 2 minutes based on some of the questions. Number one, somebody asked, how do we determine ethical standard or something that is ethical or not? Dr. Awijola was talking along that line a while ago that I came from a southern part of Nigeria where they say, where there is no law, there is no sin. But once there is a sin, there will be law. Policy is the pathway. We do not know what is ethical or unethical without the availability of policies, rules, regulations, and code of ethics. For those of us that graduated from UI, we know the limit of your similarity index that must be present in your dissertation. It's a policy. It's a policy. Where you plagiarize, even with citation, you have to do something about it. That's one. Number two, we're talking about research integrity, and I'm happy that Professor Abioye is here and Dr. Mrs. Oyelude. In research, authorship is a big thing. And we were taught, and that's why we were taught citation. Even when you give wrong citation, it is still illegal. It is still lack of integrity. I still remember in my knowledge classification, they told us statement of responsibility. Who is chiefly responsible for this knowledge material? The question might be, when you say you use AI to generate a PDF and you cite it and you worked on it, now we may ask, what is the percentage of the work you do on it? Because there is a minimum contribution that you should make before you can claim ownership. As long as we don't have that, we will not go that way. Then the last thing that there is a study, Dr. Adeoye, I don't know how I can send it to us. The way AI works is quite different from the way calculator works. Calculator does not generate everything for us like AI does. They are not the same thing. And conversation around this thing globally is quite enormous. And I give an instance. We had an issue in one of the universities in the US here last year. We quoted it in our presentation at ACIS conference. Now, a student actually said that he can use AI, and he failed the course and charged the university to court. It's online, we can search it. It's the policy that the university used. And they asked the student to leave because he violated the university policy and ethical code. So these are things. That study from MIT says that if we subject our brain and reasoning to machine, we're going to have a problem. How many students all over, even in the USA, can write a paragraph correctly without AI? Now, we shouldn't conflict AI content with Google content. AI does not give us alternative, for God's sake. How do we develop our reasoning? The study from MIT stated it clearly. It's an experimental study. The brain of the people using that LLM over a period of, I think, 4 months or 6 months, degenerates completely. And these are the things in the developed countries now. These are major issues. Can AI take responsibility? And that's the point. If it cannot take responsibility, I listened to Dr. Jato talking over there. Even the citation it generates for you, if you go check deeper, many of them are not correct. when you say, hey, I can pay for AI, where is the economic disparity in all this? Now, when we say some people will get better AI output because they pay for it, how about people that will not be able to pay for it? That's another digital divide on its own. So I just want us to look at it holistically in order for us to make use of the technology advancement that we have. Now, if AI cannot take responsibility and authorship, then we might have problems here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So please, we really appreciate your contribution. We are very conscious of time. We have a whole lot of agitation in the room, and we have less than 10 minutes to close the section. We still have some, my thought.
Sorry, please. Professor Bioye is raising his hand, please, sir.
We'll allow Prof to speak for 60 seconds. That we'll be able to allow training. Please, you've been on the Sorry.
Yes, thank you very much. I think I must first apologize for my absence this evening. Just as my co-presenter said, it was an emergency that I had to attend to in Ibadan. But I've been with you since the beginning of the program. And I want to commend everybody, the presenters generally, then Dr. Yulude, efficiently managing the program, Dr. Adeoye. Thank you very much. And I'm happy that this session has generated a lot of, discussion. It's been stimulating and insightful. So the issue of, copyright is an important issue. It relates to academic integrity. And just as Dr. Adebayo said, of course, policy is important. There should be a code, and this code must be adhered to. In academic environments, the issue of academic integrity is important. And, coming back a little to our own presentation, that is the presentation with Dr. Jato, you will realize that, African scholars, they are usually, sustained when it comes to the issue of, publications. You pay publications fee and, article processing costs. And at the end of the day, to really access may be difficult. And this also goes to the issue of institutional repositories. Sometimes when you are putting things on in your repositories, the issue of whether the publishers, particularly those in the, north, whether they will want to allow you to really put this together without violating, what they call a copyright, issue. I remember some time ago, I published a paper in one of these Emerald journals. And of course, a few months later, when I wanted to access, I was unable to access. And I was asked to actually pay. Actually, they sent a link to me when the paper was published. So I just thought that that link was something which I can use anytime. Unfortunately, when I needed the paper and I tried to access the link, I was asked to go and pay. And that, I had to pay for my own paper. So these are some of the issues. And some of them may not even publish your paper unless they are sure that copyright will not be infringed. So this session has generated a lot of issues in the area of, copyright. And of course, the AI era has even, escalated the process. And I think we will continue to interrogate these matters. And I believe that for some other subsequent forum, or even next year, we may still push further. Research will still continue on the issue of AI as well as copyright issue. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. We're having a continuation of this section by tomorrow by 10:30, 9:30 in the room ACCL1. So it's a continuous discussion, and we'll make sure that we have ample time for us to really make discussion on it. We have just 3 minutes to the end of this section. So we have some people reacting there. Do we still want to have 1 or 2 discussions, or just
Well, finally, Dr. Marcia, I think I'm an automation librarian. One thing I say about AI is that it has come to stay, to assist us in whatever we're doing, and we just need to use it ethically. It has come to assist us, and it has not come to display thoughts of our human rights. So let's use it ethically, and don't let us forget that there are some people behind the governing of this AI. So there is an agenda. It's just to decolonize our minds so that we can't even be able to think of anything but to always think of the AI. So let's use it ethically, and let's use our critical thinking in whatever we want to do, encourage our students and our other researchers so that we won't over-rely on this AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's more or less like a closing remark. So I really appreciate everyone there. May God be with us. Thank you.
Thank you.